the perception of a younger audience playing console gaming in the basement, it's not the reality. The reality is that gaming today, and it's a big statement, it's the biggest entertainment medium out there.
Yeah.
And not only that, I attended a Playfront event of the IB, which is the gaming event of the advertising, the biggest advertising for gaming event of the year. It was a few weeks back, and it was the biggest by far. And on stage, the stats that all the biggest player in the market show, and even the IB show, that the average gamer is 37 years old. 37 years old. And I don't need the stats to know that because we see the data we have. The average audience we see in the US, it's actually mostly females playing casual mobile games. They're above 30. So yes, it's changing. And I think brands and big holdcos and agencies understand that. And they have been recruiting in the last few years internal gaming people who their goal is to educate internally the teams, the brands, the advertisers, and the ecosystem themselves about this amazing world of gaming. There's so many creative ways to engage with users in this enormous space.
You are listening to Power Marketing with Kevin Lee. Kevin and his agency Did It have helped thousands of businesses win through superior marketing, as have his books, articles, speaking engagements, and the E-Marketing Association Power Marketing podcasts. Here's Kevin.
Hi, I'm Kevin Lee with the E-Marketing Association. Super excited to be chatting today with Elad Stern, who founded Odeeo. And so before we dive in, give us a quick brief background of yourself and Odeeo and what the catalysts were for starting the company.
Sure. Hi, Kevin. Happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so I'm Elad Stern. I'm co-founder and president of Odeeo. I founded Odeeo with Amit Monheit, who is the CEO of the company back in 2021. And basically, we found the Odeeo with a mission to create a better in-game advertising experience, which allow brands, advertisers to connect non-interruptively with the game users using the sound innovation. We've created a new ad unit, which is audio-based in-game ad. We
Great. So,
found, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, no, I was going to say the audio is obviously one of those ad units that has the opportunity to sort of break through a little bit more than display. I mean, they talk about in display marketing banner blindness, right?
Yeah,
Which is the idea that you become completely blind to the banners after a while, and even if the
yeah.
creative is new, you don't see it. But so, what makes your approach unique above and beyond just the fact that it's audio?
So I think I'd start by saying that previously to Audio, both my partner and myself, we worked for a company called Iron Source. Iron Source was the biggest mobile monetization platform for games, which went IPO here in the US and then got bought by Unity. And we were lucky, to have the front seats and to see the growth, the explosive growth and the unbelievable reach of mobile gaming. Everyone is a gamer. But we also noticed that the current experience gets some of the users very frustrated. And those frustration come in the shape of full screen experience. So first of all, we understood and we realized that we should find a solution which is, allow the user to continue playing, but still get his attention. And the channel that we also saw growing was digital audio advertising. And when you think about it, audio in general, it's the only thing you can listen or do with everything else you're doing in life. So you can run, you listen to audio, you can cook, you listen to audio. And it always gets the user engagement when he listens to something while he's doing something. So for us, it was a perfect match. Like this is exactly what the mobile gaming needs. Something that doesn't interrupt the gameplay, but allow the user to consume and really engage and not, like you said, be blindfold for ads and really get this attention of the user while still playing. So off the bat, like you said, because our ad unit is audio based, the engagement of the user happens in so many levels in his brain, and he really remember the message, and he really allow the brands to interact with the user with this message throughout the game itself and not interfere the gameplay. Yeah.
So that's a great example of the fact that you can really multitask with
Yeah.
regards to consuming audio advertising. So obviously the game developers have to be bought into this, and it's great that it sort of integrates pretty seamlessly for them. So how do you integrate in
Yeah.
the game developers, and did they have a lot to do with the evolution of the platform? Because they're obviously, you need them on board, right? So
Yeah.
when
100%.
you first pitched the idea to them, were they sort of co-inventing it with you?
So 100%. In order to, to make this new ad unit a reality in this, such, I would say, evolved market, you need to have the game studios, the game developers, the one who owns the business to understand the value we're bringing in. And for them, our first go-to-market strategy was let's create an SDK, which is a technology they have to integrate within their game outside the current mediation, the current AppLovin and Unities of the world, because they don't support this ad unit. It's a new one. And basically showed them we bring some additional lift in many shapes. So the initial lift we promised and deliver is increasing ARPDAU, average revenue per user per day. This is how they basically calculated the incremental potential revenue we can bring in with the new ad unit or ad unit in general.
Right.
So I'm happy to say that through this day, 4 years into this journey, we not only prove and deliver the ARPDAU promise, which is 8% an average ARPDAU lift, we managed to integrate to 9 out of the 10 top mobile game studios in the casual category and basically integrate directly to 1,500 mobile apps with our SDK directly. The moment we manage to show them there is additional ad unit out there, there's a room for innovation in the current mobile monetization space. Sorry, we knew we were on the right track to really disrupt, to really change something in this amazing ecosystem. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I really also love about your approach to that is, ordinarily when, game developers and app developers in general that are ad supported are sort of thinking about adding more yield, they usually have to degrade the user experience in order to add more yield. And so they're
Yeah.
balancing off this degradation, question. But in your case, it really doesn't
No.
degrade the gaming experience at all, right? So it's purely incremental. It's purely positive. It's not. It really doesn't have the downside that all the
Yeah.
other choices they have do.
No. It's not only that. First of all, I agree. It's a more positive experience for the users. And not only that, in our case, specifically when it comes to digital audio, over 90% of the advertisers are pure brands. The entire mobile monetization space built upon other games, advertising within games. But when you think about it, it's kind of weird, but that's the way this ecosystem was built on.
Yeah.
But in our case, all of our advertisers are brands. So for them, they see the added value there as well. For game developers, seeing like the biggest brands in the world advertising in a very respectful way to the users, allow them to really play and balance the monetization strategy and the use of ads throughout the game. And our mission moving forward and still from day one, non-interruptive gameplay, non-interruptive ad experience. So this is our mission and we're moving forward with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that brings me to the next question, which is measuring success and the KPIs that should be used in particular by the advertisers, right? So non-interruptive advertising, is generally seen as awareness building. Bigger brands love it. It allows people to establish an understanding of the brand and its value proposition. You have high recall. So what when people are sort of trying to understand the impact that advertising on your platform has, do you focus primarily on those sort of upper funnel branding and awareness KPIs, or are there other things that people should take into account
Yeah.
when determining success?
So, when you think about it, the mobile monetization platforms out there are pure performance down the funnel platforms. It's all about installs, all about engagement, all about sales. But when you look about, like you said, about the brands out there today, they're mostly focusing first on the upper funnel campaign, those brand awareness campaigns. And I'm happy to say, yeah. So brand awareness campaign. So because we are built on a platform or like an ecosystem, which is pure performance, we allow those upper and mid and down the funnel. When we look about the upper funnel, what we got communicate with our advertisers, that they're conducting those surveys after the ad experience, because it's a new channel, the testing, and so far we see great feedback. They're talking about double-digit brand, reputation uplift. They're talking about not even upper funnel KPIs. They're actually starting to look mid-funnel, down the funnel, and they see improving conversion when it comes to sell, improving engagement of the user after redirecting to the landing page or whatever they want the user to do. And I think uh, it's all comes to the fact that in our case, our ad unit has a visual element. When you think about it, digital audio advertisers today, when they advertise on Spotify, Pandora, other podcasts, their engagement with the ad is very low. If in some cases, don't even have a way to engage.
Right.
And in our case, it's super straightforward. Our ad unit called an icon audio, which is positioned in a way that doesn't interfere the gameplay, but still very visual to the user. And with the effective sound, the CTR, the click-through rate we see on average is above 1%, which is
Wow.
unheard of when you think about it compared to other audio native environments advertising. So for us, like I said, the KPI so far is being great. Not only the upper funnel, but only also the mid and down the funnel. And this is something we're bringing in because I think, like any other sector in the advertising, performance-based advertising, at the end of the day, it's a win-win. And the
Yeah.
moment you showcase that your solution can bring in additional, positive ROI to the advertiser, to the brands, not only in the shape of brand reputation, which is super important, it opens up the budget, it opens up the mind to test this new channel, which is still, new to the world, gaming, and yeah.
Yeah, clearly in-game advertising has continued to evolve over the years, right? And you've had all the sort of display type methodologies. You've had product placement, and now you've got this sort of audio layer. This transformation. Do you feel like this transformation is still continuing? Do you feel like you guys have a product roadmap to add additional engagement methodologies, or where do you think things are going?
So, the promise of like gaming, it's been out there for brands or in general. I know I hear about for the last 10 years.
Right.
And we always, even working for Iron, so we always looking for those brands, was looking, to test and try. But since COVID, I think, this was, I think, the first initial, change in the mindset of brands and advertisers. When they realize that everybody is playing mobile games, everybody's engaging with this space called gaming, not only, mobile games. The perception of a younger audience playing console gaming in the basement, it's not the reality. The reality is that gaming today, it's a big statement. It's the biggest entertainment medium out there.
Yeah.
And not only that, I attended a Playfront event of the IB, which is the gaming event of the advertising, the biggest advertising for gaming event of the year. It was a few weeks back, and it was the biggest by far. And on stage, the stats that all the biggest player in the market show, and even the IB show, that the average gamer is 37 years old. 37 years old. And I don't need the stats to know that because we see the data we have. The average audience we see in the US, it's actually mostly females playing casual mobile games. They're above 30. So yes, it's changing. And I think brands and big holdcos and agencies understand that. And they have been recruiting in the last few years internal gaming people who their goal is to educate internally the teams, the brands, the advertisers, and the ecosystem themselves about this amazing world of gaming. There's so many creative ways to engage with users in this enormous space. And in our case, mobile gaming, which is the biggest out there. It's like almost over 3 billion mobile gamers out there. Diverse audience, the same audience you see on TV, on radio, on podcast. They're playing mobile game. And you can really engage with them in a way that are not, I would say, the old school way, but the new way and get better engagement. So we are definitely feeling lucky and honored to be part of this ecosystem and part of this movement of really bringing and educating gaming and mobile gaming into this space. And we also have additional, I would say, interesting products that are related to our mission. And not only that. So our mission, like I said, is maintain a non-interruptive game. And beside having those audio ads out there, we're also going to use the power of audio to get user engagement, not only for ads, but also game engagements within the game. We're going to use the data that we have about mobile gamers that is, it's free to play games. So not in most cases, you need to segment those users. It's not that you don't have the data. You need to segment those users and basically creating a new product that we called emotion, game emotion. And basically in real time allow brands to engage with the user on different events that's happening within the game. It can be game over, it can be win, it can be high records, and basically starting to dig deeper and deeper and think how to utilize those endless opportunities within gaming and users to create a solution that allow brands to engage, I would say, super respectively, super seamlessly, and create the best engagement for them and the best brand reputation uplift, and basically allow them to feel confidence that this ecosystem is not just what they thought. It's literally the biggest medium out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that you were at at the mobile and at the gaming conferences. Obviously, to some extent, the brands show up, but we'll both be at the Possible conference in Miami in a couple of weeks. And that conference is extremely well known for having those big brands that tend to invest heavily in the sort of upper funnel, and that they also have the ability to, if they really like an opportunity, to sort of craft things that are unique, craft things to take advantage of an ad unit or an ad format. So if you run into some folks, some brands, as we're both in Miami at the
Yep.
Fountain Blue at Possible, how would you describe to them how they should sort of fit their ads seamlessly into your gaming environments so that they get the most out of it? So if they're sort of chatting with you and they're like, okay, so here we are, how should we integrate given who we are as a brand, given where we sit, from our positioning as a brand, it seems like you have an opportunity to advise them creatively, right, alongside their agency and say,
Yeah.
hey, for this particular ad format, don't think about it as radio. Don't think about it as Spotify, right? Don't think of it as Sirius XM. We have an opportunity to do something else, because of the click option, right? Or because of the fact that people are gaming. So how do you sort of hold the hands of the direct agencies or the direct brands that you're chatting with and talking about how to maximize the opportunity?
Yeah, great. So first of all, yeah, would love to see it possible. I think this year it's going to be huge. Like every year it's getting bigger and bigger. Yeah, the list of attendees for us, it's super relevant. Like all the biggest names out there, we're gonna meet. We have great meetings, upcoming meetings. So basically, there's a few things that I need to hold their hand, like this. First of all, we assure them that gaming, and specifically mobile games, it's a brand safe environment. Okay. All of those games that we work with are basically our games that are in the at Google App Store, like the App Store or the Google Play Store.
Yeah.
So first of all, in order for them to even consider integrating any monetization solution or our solution, they need to be there. Then our audit team also, because it's our SDK, you don't get the SDK out there. You need to really talk to us and really, we need to understand who are we talking to. Only after this process, we integrate the SDK and allow. So first of all, mobile gaming in general is much more safer and brand safe environment than other mediums out there. So first of all, that. Then I would say for them, you have an opportunity to really have a direct relationship with the actual user playing the game during game time. It should be a short message. Doesn't have to be the classic 30 seconds you hear in Spotify podcast.
Right.
It can be 15 seconds, it can be 10 seconds. And you can change this message as the game goes on or the different game. Not only that, today's solution out there for creation of audio ads has changed dramatically. If a few years back, and still is today in some cases, you need to go to the studio, you need to record it, you need to wait, you need to get the approval. Today, with AI, like we can create tens of creative, hundreds of creative, variations, men, females, different tones, in a few minutes. And having this ability, like we had in display and video for years, now in audio, allow the brands to really interact directly with the user. Simple. It's also, and it's very important to mention that all of our platform is programmatic based. So the access to start a test, it's literally connecting pipes from the biggest DSP, work with the biggest DSPs out there, biggest SSP, and testing, some clients, see how it goes programmatically. If they want to manage, we can do it managed. But the best practices is think dynamic, engaging environment. Think about short message with a clear call to action and try as much as you can. This would be like my 2 cents.
So is there any best practice around voiceover plus music? Like, is music important? I mean, the back in the day when we were kids, a lot of brands actually had their own jingles. I mean, they had their audio footprint, right?
100%. 100%. Like, sonic branding, it's like
Yeah.
the Netflix of the world, the McDonald's of the world, all those sonic branding that you hear it in the middle of the night, you know exactly whose brand is it.
Right.
So if you're asking me, yes, it should be part of their entire audio strategy. And this is the way we also approach. Like there's the audio team, there's the gaming team. And usually when you're talking to brands directly, like the big ones, they have a sonic branding strategy. And yes, we are encouraging to utilize some of those, sonic branding within the audio ad. It can be music, it can be different, derivatives of this music, but definitely the same sound of the ad they're using in the TV, in YouTube, in radio, in Spotify, use the same sound maybe if it's the same user, if it's a male, or if it's a female using something else. So you can definitely play, but maintain the high-level sonic branding. And this is something brands need to think about it.
Yeah.
And they are the big one, but not only the big one. Because I think today, a lot of the barriers that were many years are gone. And even a small brand, starting brand, can really build not only like pure, like display. It can really bring the sonic branding with the tools he has out there with a very low investment. Yeah.
That's a great point. So, are there particular types of advertisers, either categorically or otherwise, that are seeing the most success? And if you've got any campaigns you can share, sort of case studies on, these would probably be the conversations you'll be having at Possible when you
Oh,
need
sure.
to name drop either at the category level or at the individual brand level.
Yeah.
So, what do you use to sort of surprise people about a brand category or a particular brand that's seeing
No,
success?
I don't think I'm going to say a few categories that we see great momentum in. I don't know if I'm going to surprise anyone because I think anybody who see or experience what we do, it's super logical for them. They're like, how come nobody did it before?
Right,
And there were multiple technical reasons and other reasons of the ecosystems that it couldn't be done before.
right.
So if you look about like the traction we see a lot of, CPG brands, QSR brands like super going, like tapping in pretty big. Entertainment, like music entertainment, and even movies and stuff like that, small stuff that you hear on the radio, they love tapping in. It's a perfect match. Um, but if I want to, when it talks about like name dropping and stuff, I would like to point, actually, it's a non-US brand, but it's Costa Coffee, which is the equivalent of Starbucks, for example, in the UK. It's one of the biggest coffee chains in the world. And they went publicly with a big case studies about our partnership in the UK, talking about the 15% lift in brand awareness, the 10% plus point they saw in brand trust, and also the 20% in the boost of positive perception of the brands. So for us, it's a pure signal and a big conviction that adding this, our solution to your marketing strategy, part of your gaming exposure or part of your audio exposure, can really deliver improvement to the brand. And we are working closely with the local, also American big brands, which I can't name drop at the moment. But I can say that we are communicated similar matrices and willingness not only to do upper funnel campaigns, but also mid funnel and down the funnel campaigns. And the general feedback is that the experience that the user getting with our solution, it's really what they're looking for. It's non-interruptive, it's getting the user in the right mindset, and the performance is great. So this is where we're at, and I hope the momentum will continue as we educate the market about this new channel. Yeah.
So yeah, follow-up question. A couple of the categories that you mentioned, obviously, whether you consider coffee to be QSR or not, some people would consider it yes, some people would consider it no. But one common thing that tends to happen in that's those types of categories is because they're trying to maximize share of wallet for the consumer, that they have pretty robust app ecosystems, right? Whether it's the Starbucks app or even any QSR, that you would have mentioned, they've got the app, right? And I would imagine that, when you sit down with them, you need to decide, oh, is the call to action button going to take us to the appropriate app install? Is it going to be like a direct response option, right, to try to stimulate the app install? Or is it going to be more focused on the upper funnel and continuing to reinforce the brand awareness or the product launch for that new sandwich and those kinds of things?
So that's what I love about working with brands and agencies. When I worked back in the days with game developers on the distribution side, it was pure installs. There was no
Yeah.
question. You want to get installs. But now working with like, the biggest brands in the world, it's a different story. They have like a big strategy, like you mentioned all of them. Like you have the campaign that goes for the pure brand awareness campaign, and this will get the user just to get more, information about the higher level and the mission, and maybe, where they want to take the company or the brand. And then you have the team that does the performance one, and those guys are looking for the pure installs or the pure sale. And each team has his own creative, his own measurement funnel,
Yeah.
his own like KPIs they're looking for. So when I sit with them, we are actually it's different teams. We are building a strategy or media plan basically that allow them to each team to meet his KPI goals.
Right.
Yeah, and for us, like for me at least specifically, like personally, I'm learning new things every day, and having this, looking back, I would recommend that also to the big gaming studio as well. You know, it's of course it's a lot about the installs and getting more users to play your game. But if you start building a strategy around the name, it allows us as an ecosystem to educate better the advertisers. Because when you go out there to the agency, they know a few names. They know only a few names. But when you show them the game, they're like, oh, I love this game. And then you ask them, who made this game? What's the brand of the game? And in most cases, they don't know, but they, on the same breath, they say, I love this game.
Right.
I'm addicted to this game. So you understand, like, as an industry, we have an opportunity here, at the gaming industry, we have an opportunity to educate and get more brands to understand the values of gaming and mobile gaming. And the possibilities, like we just mentioned, are endless. It can be an upper funnel, mid funnel, down the funnel. The technology is there. It's full transparency. It's full measurement. Everything can be measured. So it's all about getting more uh, discussion around the power of gaming and mobile gaming in our case. Yeah.
So it sounds like you've got a lot of momentum already, and visiting the possible conferences and networking with the brands and agencies will probably give you a bunch more momentum. But what's coming up next? Any other innovations or partnerships that you're allowed to talk about, or more generically than do you have planned?
Yeah, so I touched it before, but I'll touch it again. So we are looking into the entire retail sector. I think in general, the retail sector, the biggest name out there, are becoming more and more involved in the actual media buying and the user acquisition, and they're building their own network. So for us, it's a perfect match also, and we're looking into those partnership closely, educating them as well. And like I said, on the product side, we are deploying more additional non-interruptive ad solution that allow a seamless experience for the brands to interact with the mobile game users. And like I said, moving forward and utilizing and capitalizing on the enormous potential that the data of mobile users that is out there, creating real-time solutions for events advertising for advertisers, and also allowing really engaged with the user during gameplay in the different stages of the game to create like a story around the the I would say the story around the campaign, right? So basically taking the plain audio ad and making it bigger, more story oriented and more performance oriented. This is
Yeah.
our goal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Some media buyers or brands who are watching this may be curious as to, which targeting levers are available, which is just popped into my head as a final question. So
Yeah.
obviously the fact that, you're plugged into the programmatic stacks, people are sort of used to the targeting levers that are available within the DSPs. But
Yeah.
in some cases, certain areas of inventory don't have certain signal, right? So for example, some kinds of inventory might not have geolocation or geolocation at a granular level. But within mobile, depending on the SDKs and depending on what's available, you may have lat long, right? So you may have the ability to target geographically quite narrowly. So what are some of the primary targeting levers and segmentation options that an advertiser has available, if they want to deploy into your platform?
Yeah. So we built a platform to support, the current default and standards of targeting of the DSPs. You can go down as the zip level if needed, right? You can we can talk about geolocation, right? Of
Yeah.
course, country, states, the zip code they make. And now we're adding layers of demographic like male, female, ages. We have this ability using third-party partners and also utilizing our like information. Because like you said, because we are the first contact on the device and we are allowed to get this information. In most cases, that we have this information with the third-party data provider, there's so many layers of audience that can be created, programmatically curated, and allow brands to tap in specific audience or demographic they're looking for. So we support the standards. And like I mentioned in the previous question, moving forward, we're going to add things that are not out there, which are more gaming users oriented, that allow the brands to really tap in new ways advertising within the mobile games. But what they know about targeting is possible. What they know about audience layer is possible. Yeah, and we're just growing this segment as we move forward. Yeah.
Great. Well, I certainly look forward to watching your continued evolution and potentially getting some of my clients that did it into the platform. Now that it's easier to create audio ads than ever before, the barrier to entry is really low. So super exciting. Thanks, Elad, for joining me. Appreciate the time.
Gary, thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to meet you again if possible. I think it's going to be a good one. And yeah, game time.
Perfect.
Kevin Lee's Power Marketing is available on all your favorite podcast networks. Kevin loves helping businesses excel at marketing. Having marketing challenges? Just like Santa in The Miracle on 34th Street, if Kevin can't help you, he'll know someone who can. Find him on LinkedIn, subscribe, or follow.